I first think that we need to take a step back and look at the big picture here, is that this probably was anticipated because the SEC and the DOJ kind of run side by side. So I'm not surprised to hear it, and I'm not going to jump to any conclusion regarding the news today. I think that actually is secondary to the bigger point that Phil brought up, is that there is a bigger corporate governance issue going around in terms of the structure of the board. And so I unfortunately think that the news of the day is going to continue to needle away at shares of Tesla, at least for the next few weeks. But I think that the company still, this is yet another call to why they need to reorganize the board. Elon needs to stay at the company. We do not need another Scully and Apple type of a situation. He needs to be a visionary and continue to set the pace of Tesla, but there just definitely needs to be more a structure on the board that can prevent these type of things from happening in the future. One other thing, Scott, I just want to quickly mention, too, that gets lost in this, too. There is a quarter that's coming up that they're going to report, which surprisingly is going to be probably good results for Tesla, that just even adds another wrinkle into this roller coaster of a stock.
If they bring someone else in, Gene, to bring more oversight to the company alongside Musk, what's it mean for the stock?
It would be a significant step up, and I think it would really uncap and allow this story to be multiple times bigger in terms of valuation. And to put it into perspective, as we've trafficked with and spoken to investors, ones that have and have not been involved in the Tesla story, both parties say that they need this new type of structure, that Elon's not going to change, but this structure would enable the ones that are not participating to start to participate, because fundamentally is that they have a wonderful mission, which is to accelerate the globe's adoption of renewable energy. It's the greatest product roadmap in all of tech, everything from batteries to capture to autonomy to EVs. And they want to play that, but they're not going to play it until the board gets restructured. And so the irony of all of this, if the board does what's best for Tesla, with the exception of a couple board members and Elon, 6 of them need to get switched out.
Yeah. Did you see the interview with Kimball Musk?
I saw excerpts of it and felt strong after that they do need to make some changes.
Yeah. Gene, stay with us. I want to introduce our panel as well today. We'll call it the J Crew. We have Joe Terranova, Jim Lebenthal, Jon Najarian, JJ Kinahan. He's with TD Ameritrade, the chief market strategist. Jenny Harrington is with us, the CEO and portfolio manager at Gilman Hill Asset Management. The judge, I guess I qualify under a J. Ron Insana, you're on your own, man.
Yeah, exactly. It seems so.
I'm going to let you take a stab at this, Ron. What are your thoughts on how this all has unfolded?
Well, to me, to a certain extent, it's surprising, because if you want to beat the shorts out of your stock, you do it through execution. You don't do it through tweets. You don't throw something out there that's kind of red meat that just forces short sellers to cover their shorts, and you get even with them for bad-mouthing the company. You deliver on the promises that you're supposed to deliver on, and I think ultimately, despite Elon's frustration and the kind of the verbal dialogue that continues to circulate the street, I think that's where he may have missed the mark. And listen, there is a very fine line between a genius and then having some troubles that go along with being a genius. And he may be stressed to a point where he's making some decisions that aren't in his best interest and in the best interest of the company.
Yeah, Phil, you don't have any indication at all, I would guess, on whether Tesla is willing to even entertain what Gene Munster said was truly needed. It's not like they talk publicly all that often.
Right.
I can't remember the last time you were able to secure an interview with Elon. He doesn't do many, as you know.
No, he rarely does them because he wants to control the narrative himself. And how do you control the narrative yourself? You send out tweets. That's how you do it. The one time he didn't control the narrative, look what happened with the New York Times interview. He ended up coming back the next day and saying, well, that wasn't accurate. That's why he controls the narrative as he sees it through Twitter. With regard to what Gene Munster said regarding the board and the need to bring in fresh oversight who can have a tighter rein on Elon Musk, Scott, I think if they were to announce, look, we are bringing in, let's say, some type of a COO or somebody who's going to be working with Elon Musk, and the goal here is to have a tighter rein on him, the announcement might produce a stock pop. But what the investors are going to be looking for is proof that the actions and the attitude of Elon Musk have changed over time. And I think unless that is seen, let's say over the next 6 months or 9 months, you will continue to have people like Gene Munster and other critics who will sit there and say, nothing's really changing here. He is who he is, good and bad, and you have to accept that if you're an investor in Tesla.
It's kind of the point that Mark Cuban made with us, I don't know, maybe it was a month ago at this point, when all of this was first unfolding, and Mark had called in and said exactly that. You know what you're getting when you invest in this story, and if you're going to be an investor, you just have to deal with it. Joe Terranova, you want to make a point?
I do. I mean, there's something clearly wrong in a company where the chief accounting officer joins the company one day before the funding secured tweet and leaves a month later, and that's Dave Morton. Clearly, he saw something that was troubling. To Gene's point about we want Elon Musk to be there, we want Elon Musk to be there. And when I say we, I mean for those that want to buy the stock. We want him to be there, but we want him to be controlled. We want him to be reined in. And we talk about changing up the board. Well, they tried this last year. In July of last year, they brought in James Murdoch. So that was an attempt to bring someone in that was more of an adult voice in the room. So I'm not necessarily sure that the only way really to resolve this is about Elon and controlling Elon.
I think one of the interesting things about Elon Musk is that he checks every box on the quintessential entrepreneur. And what we're seeing right now is we're at that crossroads where you've gone from a brilliant entrepreneur to someone who needs to step back and not be a control freak and let other people manage the business. And he's not doing that, and it's really a problem. We've seen it so many times. So you need him there, but you need someone to control the business.
In terms of needing him there, and I just want to make this more strong, all right? If he's not there, which today's news puts in play, all right, and increases that risk, then what you've got is a car company that might actually be valued as a car company, right, or a renewable energy company that might be valued as a renewable energy company. And let's use math here, all right? They produce, if they're doing 5,000 a week, let's say they're going to produce 300,000 cars a year. That's 3% of General Motors, which I know you own too, Jenny. Right. And, you know, General Motors, a $50 billion market cap. Maybe it should be 3% of General Motors. That would be $1.5 billion. That would be an incredible destruction of shareholder value. You really need Elon Musk here. That's the reason
you
this,
need Elon
this
Musk
stock
to
is
be
valued.
here if he's the chief intelligence officer. Not if he is the CEO. Make him the chief intelligence officer, bring in another CEO, and the stock's about it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the risk increased today that he's not there in any capacity.
Jimmy, here's why you definitely need him. If you look back to like retail clients, how our clients invested last month, they came back. Our millennial clients were larger buyers of Tesla than our traditional clients. And particularly, it's interesting to me that we, are near this 280 level, because you're more of a charter than I am, Jimmy, but between this 265 and 280 level is where you have seen a lot of them come in to be buyers. So we'll have to see how the price actually reacts off that.
Let me just quick jump in here for a second and just put a little bit of finer point on this. I'm envisioning Elon Musk listening to this conversation and us talking about him changing and him rolling his eyes and thinking there's no way.
I was going to say he's probably already thrown something at the television if he is.
So I think I don't think Elon. This might be crazy. I don't think Elon needs to change. I think we know his behavior, and I just think there needs to be a structure around him that allows other people who are gifted to flourish. I don't know if that's going on today. But I'm under the belief that the board needs to change. Surprisingly, I started with an open letter a couple months ago that Elon needs to change. I realized that was a mistake. He's not going to change. But I think the board can change. And the one other piece about Elon and Department of Justice, I mean, these are very vulgar thoughts going on whenever you hear Department of Justice. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I suspect that there'll be some fine that he pays. I would be shocked if he is removed from Tesla. So I think that as a Tesla shareholder debating about what's going on, I don't think you should be factoring in much, if any, of him being removed from the company.
Yeah. Well, certainly, Gene, the Kimball Musk interview yesterday would give you no indication that the board is entertaining any sort of dramatic or drastic steps. Gene, thank you for coming to the phone.